Never again will you be able to say that you don't know a plural family. On Afterbuzz TV's initial coverage of Seeking Sister Wife, I'm joined by my special guest host for the whole season, the entire Snowden family. Stay tuned.
You're tuned in to Afterbuzz TV, the ESPN of TV talk. Now, let the buzz begin.
Woo! What is up, everybody? Oh my God, a brand new show on Afterbuzz. Ladies, gentlemen, how are you today?
We're great.
There you go.
We're here.
We are so happy to have you guys in studio. We're happy to have all of you guys watching us. I am your host and moderator, Mike Thieling. I'm joined by the entire Snowden family right here. To my immediately left, Ashley.
Yes.
Say hi to everybody.
Hi, everybody.
Further to my left, of course, Dimitri.
Hi, Dimitri.
And then opposite to me on the other end, of course, we have Vanessa.
Hi.
Guys, America has been watching you guys now for a season and a half of this show. Yeah. We've come to know you guys, love you guys. We're intertwined in and amongst your family affairs and everything.
Everything.
You guys went from, kind of anonymity to now being on this national stage and spotlight as a plural family. What's that been like just for your personal lives? Dimitri?
It's on you.
Yeah?
Yeah, it's been interesting. I think the most interesting dynamic, the most interruptive shift has been observing how rude people are. Right? Like, people are miserable.
Yep.
It's like, well, you came all the way to my page.
Right.
You came all the way to my television show, watched it for an entire hour just to yell at me. I mean,
welcome to the internet.
Yeah.
That is literally what we do. We're going to get into all of it. We're going to recap last night's episode, which is a fantastic episode. We're going to play a little fun newlywed game with our family right here. But first, let me start at the end. Vanessa, what did you think of last night's episode? Overall thoughts?
Watching it back, it's just as awkward as I remember it being. I had anxiety and nerves all over again. It was a lot. It's a lot to go through with your family, with my new potential family. It was a lot.
Ashley, what did you think?
Yeah, I mean, I felt for her. But it also let me know that she can hold her own.
Yeah.
I was like,
shoot. Of course.
I knew that, but it was so cool to see that.
Yeah.
Because it's like, there's only so much defending you can do for yourself.
Yeah.
That's right.
But to have someone else like, listen.
Yeah, and when you're in a non-traditional lifestyle from what the majority of people are, you're going to do a lot of defending, right? And you have to be a really strong person to make it through that on the other end. And we're going to talk about So the show follows 4 families. You guys are one family, but of course we have 3 others. I like to just discuss the episode in order of families, and we kind of put the whole story together. So we're going to start right now with the family that wasn't on the show yesterday.
Great place to start.
That's right, yeah. We get over real quick. Colton, Tammy, and Sophie, not on this episode, but important to bring up because we know that they are fundamentalist LDS. So they are the Mormonist of the Mormons, right? We know that the Mormon Church has disallowed or disaffirmed from polygamy in general, and that there are certain offshoots in sects who still believe in it, and Colton is part of it. What I thought is really interesting about this, specifically for your family, is that you guys are not coming at this lifestyle from a religious perspective.
That's correct.
So for all of our viewers who don't know you as intimately, Dimitri, what initially drew you to this type of lifestyle? What and when did you know you wanted to be a part of a plural family?
Yeah, let me try to make this succinct because I can babble a bit.
But use smaller words.
That's right, smaller words, right. Feminine centricity, is that small enough? No, okay.
It sounds beautiful though.
No, but that's what kind of netted me down this journey, right? I just have a reverence for women. I think that human evolution takes place through a woman. I feel like if women were whole and happy and just at peace, like humanity as a whole would be much better. Because women are not, I think there's a general disdain that they have. It's just the net outcome is kind of, it's rough. So as a man, I feel like it's our job as men. It's our job to burden labor. It's to burden fighting the world, if you will, and maintaining, that outside world, so that the women can express their creative freedom and be their best, like live their best life.
Sure.
So if that's, being able to spend all their time or the majority of their time focusing on nurturing children, fine, go for it. If you want to paint all day, fine, go for it. If you want to garden, if you want to fly a plane, if you want to be a race car driver, go for it, right? That's what it is. And this way of life, the framework of it, kind of presented a way for me to be able to exercise that.
I feel inspired to do something right now.
Go fly a plane now.
I'm going to keep hosting the show. Ashley, when you were younger, were you drawn to this lifestyle as well? Was it after you initially met Dimitri? What drew you to it?
I was younger, but I was college younger. I was studying anthropology and anthropology 101. I switched my major halfway through my 4 years, and that was kind of my first introduction, was different family dynamics around the world, and polygamy was an umbrella term used to describe plural families and kinship ties. And I thought it was beautiful. And, one thing that's important for anthropologists is that you remain objective and relative in your thinking. So I never judged it. It was always like, this is another way that people live. So when I met him, and that was the first leading line, hi, what do you say? My name is Dimitri, and
This is my vision and version of the family.
Yeah, and I drool when I sleep, and I want to have multiple wives. And I was like, oh, you mean polygamy? And he was like, yeah. And I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah, so I didn't know what the term was called.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wasn't like,
really?
Well, yeah.
Okay. So you just knew this feeling and what you wanted your family dynamic to
Correct.
be.
I didn't know there was a word for it.
Right.
I mean, I don't know even how you Google that thing, right? I just knew that this is the way I want to live, and I was just going to go for it, right?
Yeah.
And when I was trying to describe it, she was like, oh, you mean polygamy, and specifically polygyny. And I was like, oh, yeah, right, yeah, that's what I meant.
Yeah.
And so for those of us who don't know, define polygyny.
Yeah, so actually let's go through the whole chain of them.
Yeah.
So polygamy is the overarching term for just multiple people with
Plural marriage.
Plural marriage.
Yeah.
Marriage being the operative word.
Correct. And then inside of that, you have polygyny, which is one man married to multiple women.
Right.
You have polyandry, which is one woman married to multiple men. And then you also have kind of another part of that, or another sect called polyamory.
Right.
Which is where there's fidelity and or just rules that they've consented to that work for that pod, if you will,
Right.
That nucleus. And it may or may not involve marriage, per se,
Okay.
as it's defined. It could literally just be like, oh, I'm going to be with you until I change my mind, but we agree that's what it's going to be.
Yeah.
So then, in that essence, all families who practice polygamy are also practicing polyamory, but not the reverse,
Well,
right?
polyamory is kind of a new term.
Okay.
It's not something that I studied, at least when I was studying polygamy. It's more,
Anthropologically speaking.
yeah, it's a new term of describing how you can love more than one person, and it's not necessarily respective of heterosexual relationships. So there can be multiple men that love each other and multiple women.
And isn't it, and correct me if I'm wrong, but isn't it with polyamorous people, they usually are all sharing with each other, right? It's not
Sometimes.
Oh,
So it really
I don't
depends
know.
on the rules of the relationship. I mean, some people are polyamorous and they will have a person, a spouse, but then they may have a separate relationship outside of that. And those people never come into, like, they might not all interact.
But
It might just be-
everybody knows.
Yes,
Right.
and which is kind of similar to open relationships as well. So
Sure.
it really just depends. Everybody defines their relationship differently. The main thing that makes polygamy different is that it's marriage and usually heteronormative.
Okay. Yeah.
If that makes sense.
And so you guys define your relationship as plural family. How do you define, or sorry, what is the term that you guys like to use for a monogamous relationship? Because I feel like right off the bat, and part of what I think we want to do with this and talking with you guys is blow away some of the stereotypes and you know, some of the negativity. So right off the bat, I'm going to say people probably refer to relationships that aren't yours as a normal relationship, a normal marriage, right? And that can kind of be offensive, right? I could understand where some people would find it. How do you refer to like my marriage, for example?
Yeah, I mean,
Traditional.
Yeah,
Traditional.
traditional, normal. They're kind of the same in that way, right?
Old school.
I mean, Dimitri's kind of abnormal, but it's got nothing to do with how many wives he's
Right.
got.
At all. It's the other stuff, right?
Not at all.
Yeah. Thanks for clearing that up. That's exactly right. I mean, we typically call what you monogamous, monogamy rather, normal or traditional, and we refer to us as being plural. We don't like really saying we're polygamous because it's like walking around saying you're monogamous, right?
Yeah.
It's that analogous term isn't.
Sure.
That analogy doesn't fit, so plural just seems to be better. And because the term polygamy is highly identified with the Mormon faith, with a certain template that we are not, and so to help redefine or refresh what that could look like, we say plural.
Right. Another relationship that is not monogamous is that which we have with our lovely viewers that are out there. Because while you're watching us, you know that here at AfterBuzz we cover many, many shows across all sorts of different genres. I cover Survivor if you guys want to hang out on Wednesdays. So every single kind of show that you guys want, we have an after show about it. So please, if you guys are watching us on YouTube, make sure to subscribe to all our channels. Give us a big thumbs up and leave lots of comments. And if you're listening to us on iTunes or any of your other podcast services, hit us with a 5-star review and let us know that you guys did so that we can give you a shout out later. We love to talk to you. We say that you guys are our extended panel, making us the ESPN of TV talk. So we love all of you, and we love all of you for being in here. We're going to keep talking about these terms. This is fascinating. We love educating people. That's a big reason of why we're doing this. But I want to keep going with last night's episode, and I'd like to move on to Bernie. So our man Bernie, older couple, right? He and Paige. They have been throughout this season looking for a sister wife. So this would be a first sister wife for them, right? Very interesting. And they have the two sons, John and Kyle, at home. And last night, of course, Brandy is there, their potential sister wife, in the house with her daughter, Bree, spending the weekend. Vanessa, as the new potential sister wife coming in, you experienced this. What are like the thoughts and emotions going through Brandy's mind?
Ooh, it's obviously going to be a little bit different because we're different people, different relationships. Sure. But from what I saw and just trying to put myself in her shoes, she is wanting to join this family that it's not a given she's going to join. So, she's being respectful. She probably doesn't want to do anything to hurt Bernie, but obviously more importantly Paige, because Paige is very sensitive, and I think she maybe picked up on that ahead of time, and if not, she knew after last night's episode.
All right, so what I thought was really endearing is that the two of them go out to get their hair done, and they're kind of preparing Brandy for their date. Even Paige says, I never would have expected that I would be taking another woman out to the beauty parlor to get her ready for a date with my husband. And that brings up just one of the huge elephants in the room, I think, with any of these plural relationships is jealousy. So from the ladies, we'll start with Ashley. What is the initial gut reaction? How do you deal with jealousy when it inevitably is going to come up?
Or is it inevitably?
Or is it? Sure.
Yeah, I mean,
it would be for me. I'll tell you, I was completely honest. Like I know I wouldn't be able to handle it.
Yeah, I think for most people, that's what I've been hearing, and so I guess that puts me in a different, unique space because my gut reaction isn't jealousy, and I'm usually very excited, especially if it's someone like Vanessa who I'm vibing with and feel like, okay, this is great. Like, this is a potential to be someone that we're all going to be sharing the rest of our lives with. I want this to go well, So my feelings are not rooted in my personal, feelings about jealousy or anything like that. I also know that I want for her what I would want for myself. So if I'm happy and I'm whole and I love my husband and I have a great family, I would want to share that with her, and I want her to feel the same way. So I have a different kind of take on it.
Yeah.
But that may come from my anthropological.
Probably.
And maybe childhood rearing, because, I never really had those issues with my siblings either.
Okay, yeah.
So, yeah.
And then Vanessa, for you coming into the relationship, completely different dynamic. So in one essence, you might think, do I even get to be jealous because I'm, in a sense, the other woman, right? I don't know if labels on her, but does that feeling come up, and do you have to squash that and say, well, she was his first wife, she was your,
Ooh.
I don't know.
Well, no, that's a good point. I've mentioned this before in other things related to the show that I think I said it too. I don't know if it actually made it to the cut, but that especially at the beginning of this, maybe not so much now, I was like, I just have so much respect for Ashley, because just knowing how I was before this relationship, years ago, I used to be a very jealous person and so like controlling and over, protective of my man.
Yeah.
So meeting them, first of all, I could see, how open and open-minded hearted Ashley is. And so I was like, oh, she's very evolved. Like I'm to a place where I was already getting there. But you have brought up a good point. Like I would never know what it's like to have Dimitri to myself, and nor would I want to. So coming in as a second wife, I mean, it's cool. But no, because they're a package deal to me. Like I love Ashley for, who she is and a potential sister wife and friend, that it's been really kind of like, I feel like the second potential wife has it easier because I'm like,
And I've heard that described that way. I used to watch Sister Wives like religiously, and one of the subsequent wives that came in said the exact same thing.
Really?
Like I would never want to be a first wife because
you have to build the family.
It's just so much pressure. I'd rather just come in. It's all done. You just tell me where to show up.
I'm lazy.
And what to do.
It's so easy.
Where's my room? It's not in my room.
Well, and we know you were introduced to Dimitri and Ashley on social media, right? Was that your introduction into wanting a plural lifestyle, or were you having those feelings before you found them online?
So no, I definitely had not ever considered polygamy or knew too much about it. I'd seen an episode or two of the original Sister Wives like years ago when it first aired, and I was like, oh, happy for them, whatever works for them. But for the past year before I met them, I was kind of thinking like, okay, I'm kind of ready to settle down, but I'm like, I don't know, like the thought of like not living with my best friends anymore and settling down with just my husband, I was like, it's not going to be as fun as when I'm sorry, maybe I just never want to grow up. I'm a child at heart, but I'm like,
sounds good.
So when I saw them, I was like, well, duh, like I wouldn't have to like choose. I would get to live with a best friend, and we can still watch our Downton Abbey when he doesn't want to, and I get a hot potential husband.
Yeah.
I'm like, win-win for me.
Yeah.
So best of both worlds is what I thought. It took me a minute to get there. It took me watching the show and seeing them, and I kept seeing myself like, oh, if I was there, like I'd be having a good time with them and everything. So then I was like, maybe I should be there.
Maybe it's the depictions that we see in the media and on TV shows like Big Love and things like that, where it's always one man, many wives.
Yeah.
Dimitri, and the other folks that you've met within this lifestyle, when a woman decides she's interested in having a plural lifestyle, is it almost unanimously that they're going to go to one man and have sister wives? Or do you find, I'm already losing my terms, I'm terrible at this. Is polyandry more common than we're exposed to?
No, polyandry, which is one woman, multiple husbands, is extremely rare.
Okay.
And it is usually when the geography, demography, and or resources thereof are under duress. Mm-hmm. So there's not enough men, or, everyone, there's not enough, we can't create a gazillion people because there's not enough resources, the land can't sustain it. So we'll have one, if you have two men with one woman, the probability of her getting pregnant decreases actually because she can't, you only can be pregnant one at a time for 9 months.
Right.
You know what I mean, opposed to the other way around.
Sure.
I can literally have two kids at the same time. So that's that. And the other part of your question was...
No, you got it.
Okay.
Yeah.
I have more for you though. Okay.
But with that, one of my really good friends is in a polyandrous, and I don't even know that she would term it that, but that's the union that she has and it works for her, but they are highly evolved. Highly evolved.
And I want to expand on that. So going back to
Sure.
like that jealousy thing, it's like, listen, jealousy is never about the other person. You're jealous of them. They're just doing what they do.
Right.
So for us, this is I think our mutual kind of perception, it's a underdeveloped part of yourself that you need to tighten up.
Yeah.
Right. And that's not going to, if you enter in this type of relationship with that underdeveloped aspect, you will not be successful.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because they're two different people. One cooks better than you, someone cleans better. I mean, there's always going to be something they do better than you.
Right.
If you're going to walk into a relationship with a deficit or a list of all the things you don't do good because they do them better, like, this is not going to work. We don't have time for that. We're a fast-paced family. We do. We are on the move.
Well,
Yeah.
And we are all extremely mindful people in general, so we wouldn't. We're just considerate of one another. So even though we don't need any one of us to not do something or do something, we're still like, I'm not gonna go. I'll say, sit on his face or something.
It's your turn. You're such a
With
sharing.
that.
We're 10 minutes into the first episode. I'll chime in from a monogamous marriage that I have. I remember when I was growing up being a really, really jealous boyfriend. And I never had that with my wife, who I'm married to right now, because I just have 100% trust. I don't even think about it. It's not even a concern. Obviously, you guys have tremendous trust in each other. And I was wondering if part of that lack of jealousy that you guys have is because, and you guys have set it up from the beginning, specific rules and guidelines that everybody follows and respects. That has got to be more important in a plural lifestyle.
It is, but listen, I mean, stuff breaks. I mean, we had an issue in season 1 where I wasn't the best version of myself, right? It's yes, the rule and the guideline is very important, but it's the communication and reconciliation, right, around that. Yeah, because the rule will and is going to get broken. Yeah, like, it's inherent, right? Whatever that rule is. Sure. It could be like, can you pull instead of backing it? Can you put your clothes in the clothes basket? Yeah. Whatever that thing is, it's going to be violated. How do you reconcile that? Right. So I think that maturity, that emotional intelligence, is what they call EIQ, has to become rich and become better by just communicating when something does break. Right. So, all right, I broke it. Let me own that. Here's what I can do to fix it. Let's do a post-mortem. We literally do like really hone in on what that thing was and fix it and reconcile it.
It seems like potentially a big lack of communication from Paige, if we just were to wrap up their story, because we see Brandy and Bernie go out on this date, and I don't even know if they left the garage. No. And Paige has a terrible breakdown, feel really, really bad. Yeah. And one thing that just struck me was the very end of the segment. She says, why would he want this lifestyle? Why did I want this lifestyle? And throughout the season, we've seen her say, I want a plural family, but it seems over and over we see evidence that she is not comfortable with any of the stuff that's going on. Yeah. I guess, tell me what you guys think about this. Do you see this a lot in other couples of your peers? What would be your diagnosis?
She's dynamically working through it. And this is kind of the downside of television, because we only get to see a few minutes of what it looks like. But you're literally seeing, when we're all, there's no, for us, and I think the McGee's as well, because I don't think they're super religious, if I remember correctly, from the story.
They are.
I believe it does come from a religious background.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Well, I know for us, there's no framework to reference, right? There's no polygamy guidebook, right? And so
for them is the same. They are religious, but they don't have a polygamous framework.
So they're literally just making shit up as you're literally trying to figure this out. Like, how can I communicate better? And so some of that is polygamy specific, but some of it is literally just like relationship 101. Okay. Like, do we communicate well? Are you empathically listening? And I'm not sure.
And are you being honest? With your partner?
And sometimes, again, agnostic to the relational construct, I'm not sure. Sometimes we actually, net those out. I don't think we really bang those out to the nth degree.
And in addition to that, I would say that there's always the gray area between theory and practice.
Yeah, sure.
Like, it feels good to those of us that really want to live this way. Like, and even Paige, like, she, in her mind and heart, she can see the end result. It's good. Mm-hmm. But in practice, like, it's practice for a reason. You got to show up and you got to do it. And that doesn't always translate, initially in the beginning.
Having a beach bod feels great, but doing the reps suck.
Yes.
I haven't done the reps, so I don't know.
He's referring to me because I don't want to work out, but I want the beach bod.
Actually, you were in Paige's position. Yeah. So when you were seeing that end picture, what does that look like? What is the ultimate benefit of this arrangement?
I mean, there are lots of benefits. One, I think we kind of touched on is like everybody, companionship. Let's just call it that. Because you have your relationship with your husband and we all have our relationship with a husband or potential husband. But then there's also the friendship and sisterhood dynamic.
Yeah.
And I know for me, day one, like when we talked about this, one thing that was really exciting for me was the fact that coming into polygamy as never having been married, never having children or anything like that, it just seemed so much more ideal to do that with a tribe.
Yeah.
My family's all over the place, spread out across the nation. So is his family and yours as well. So I don't really even know what that means anymore to have that type of support. And it's not just like help with the kids and stuff. It's literally like working through life's obstacles and just nuances that come up.
And everybody says that. They're like, "Oh, you just need a friend. You just need a friend." It's like, well, no, I have lots of friends.
Yeah, and it's not that. And half of them we love them to death, but half of them don't even understand. So it's just like
there's something about building
together.
You might not be attracted to them at a very base level.
Yeah,
True.
exactly.
Yeah.
So. And, and then with a family, you're moving in the same direction. I think that's also the difference. Like with friends, like you can still have your separate lives and you're moving in opposite directions, but you still care about each other. With a family, everybody is moving toward the same, the same goal. So it's deeper than just having a friend or a nanny, whatever else they say.
What do they call you?
Housekeeper, nanny.
Maid,
I'm available on weekends, everybody.
As long as the kids aren't calling.
Right. Yeah.
And then I think let's get another one of those stereotypes right out of there right now, because I think it kind of leads into this, and specifically for Dimitri.
Yeah.
I'm going to put words in your mouth right now because we talked about it before.
Let's go for it.
Everybody, immediately when they see this guy just wants to sleep with a bunch of women.
Right.
It's immediately about sex.
Of course.
Right? Just to spell it right now.
Yeah.
They do. And the thing is, it's like, guys, I don't have to commit myself to 2 women just to have sex.
Right.
All this just for sex, just for some ass?
Same thing we said on the phone, because
your mouth.
there
sorry.
are that's okay. There are thousands, if not more, of men cheating on their wives,
Right.
women cheating on their husbands right now. Everybody can sleep with whoever they
And
want.
do you know how many people, both male and female, that are completely okay and advocate and are very comfortable being a side person?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
You know what I mean? So trust me, this is a lot of work, and
Right.
it's a lot of work just for sex.
Yeah.
It's not required. It's not necessary. There are people that will be side pieces for much less.
Yeah.
For
Absolutely.
Uber and a dinner,
That's
right?
right. That's right.
And then they go away, and I'm good for the next.
Or
pay-
Lyft. Or Lyft. Not sponsored. Not sponsored.
Shameless plug, right? But yeah, it's not. This is much more than that. I mean, of course, sex is part of it. Of course,
It's a relationship.
Right, it's a relationship. I'm a male. I'm a bipedal, carbon-based life form. It's part of pleasure as well as building a family.
Right.
But that it's not built around sex at all.
You
Sex
have
is
to
There you
care
go.
for the emotional well-being of
of
additional
course.
humans.
EIQ, emotional intelligence, is extremely at play. Like it is, the gravity around the importance of that is big.
Yeah.
It's very big.
So we are going to see what happens next episode with Paige. We know that Bernie does go on that date because we do see them eventually in the car. So we're going to see what happens. Let's shift over now to my man Jeff.
Yes.
And Jeff's 2 wives, Vanessa and Charisse. They have been looking for a while now, and they have had some real letdowns.
Yeah.
Been stood up at the airport. That was really, really sad. They have 7 children, so their house is real full.
Yeah.
1 bathroom.
For right now.
For right now,
They're
but
building.
it's no denying that is rough.
I can't imagine. Bless you all.
But of course, we've seen throughout this season, they have really good feelings about this woman, Jennifer. And they went to visit her in Niagara Falls. We got to see that. Then she unexpectedly left, kind of. So maybe some doubts. And this episode, she has agreed to come visit them.
Yes.
How did you feel about, up until this point, how their relationship was developing, the 4 of them?
So with Jennifer on paper, visually, it doesn't look like she would fit in with their family. But when she came to visit them and they had their little picnic and stuff, she's, answering all the right questions, and she's been talking with them and their children for a while now. So,
and she was raised in that style in a polygamous family, so she's used to that
Yeah,
lifestyle.
she's. So
And that's always at least in theory, helpful.
Sure.
You know,
Yeah.
that-
Theory.
Have an understanding of it and appreciate it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, listen, at the end of the day, you know, sometimes that wild card is good. Like you have that outlier spouse or friend or child
Right.
that kind of rounds out the family. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? So, though visually you were like, okay, she looks different than the profile of that family, it could be very, very good and
Yeah.
fruitful for that family.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So I was actually very intrigued to see how that was going to how that's going to play out.
You're gonna have to wait a bit longer because
Yeah.
she does not come this episode, and we get a mysterious text from her brother that she was rushed to the hospital with a burst appendix. But we see in the coming attractions from the next episode that it seems like they might have been misled. So we're not sure the gut instinct with that. But to your point, she does look different than the sister wives that are already in place. I believe she's a bit younger than the two of them. And that brought up something interesting that I wanted to ask you guys, because a big theme around all of the couples is children, right? How does it work? And obviously it's going to be different for every family. How have you guys talked about it? How have you seen it in general? The discussion around children, when you guys were ready, who has the next child? Does it go in an order? Is it the thought that all the women could be pregnant at the same time if the time was right? Well, how's that discussion kind of go?
I mean, we talk about it. I don't think
Is that your excited face?
First of all, it's my pensive face.
Okay.
We
I haven't
have
been too rough on you.
we have. I mean, I have 3 children already from this body. Vanessa doesn't have any yet. So I know when and if that time comes, it will more than likely not be me first. But we also are open, you know, to whatever happens. I don't think we're that married to a timeline.
You had another baby before me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and that's the thing too, is like, again, because we have a different type of framework that we've co-created.
Sure.
There's no rigidity, right, around, you know, days and position and schedules. I mean, there's like, again, it's loosely like, okay, we'll alternate or whatever, but it's like, it's not like a sin or blasphemy if we don't, right?
You bring up I'm going to cut you off right there
Please.
because you bring up alternating, and we've seen that with all the couples. So the man sleeps with this wife tonight and he's going to be with the other wife the next night, and they switch off. How does that work when the two of you get in a fight? Do you
Better
not
deal
sleep
with
there that night? Do you switch? Is it like 2 nights in a row over here? Like, how does that happen?
2 things.
How does it work?
One is we won't go to bed angry.
Yes, that's vital.
Can't go to bed angry, so we will stay up until we figure it out.
Okay.
So won't go to bed angry. And then as far as night, I mean, at that point, then it's just where I'm supposed to be.
Right.
Yeah. But I mean, I think you guys talked about it before. If we're on a date night and it's the other person's night, the other woman's night, then I might stay there.
Yeah.
We've not gotten to that point yet.
Right.
So we talk about it actively because
Right.
we don't want it to be something that's a shock or surprise
Yeah.
when that happens, and we're like, well, what, you know? So we do kind of have to talk about the hypotheticals, but I think that's important, and maybe not to keep going back to the page because I love my girl page, but you know, these are the conversations that are important so that you can get some of that like anxiety around the discomfort and a new way of living out there in the open.
And of course, all families are different, but would you say that the majority of polygamous relationships, the sister wives are not intimate with each other?
That's correct.
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
And more so because, again, a lot of that's implied and informed by the religious framework,
Sure.
which prohibits
Sure.
homosexuality, right, to any degree. So, yeah.
But we don't know what goes on behind their closed doors.
Of course.
Yes.
Yeah, I think that's the biggest thing.
Right.
Well,
in mind.
we'll see what happens with Jennifer's appendix next episode. And now finally we'll move on to you guys. I want to start this with the question after last night's episode that I know is on everybody's mind. Dimitri, do you always do dishes with a young child strapped to your back?
I always do dishes, yes. with the child strapped on my back.
Poor kid just like hanging out. Like, I don't know what's going on.
She loves it though. She absolutely loves being on our backs.
Yeah,
It's so cute.
Yeah.
You guys, we know you moved to California. You got a fantastic home. You guys are building it all together. It's amazing. And the big story for this episode for you guys is that Vanessa's sisters come to visit. So big deal. All the way from Australia, Adrian, your identical twin. Do you guys do the weird twin stuff? Like, does she know I'm talking to you right now?
Oh, I don't know. Yes, she does.
The creepy twin stuff is amazing. It's just so cool. And then, of course, Amy, who's your half sister.
Yes.
Amy, we're going to focus mainly on you. This is amazing. Were you surprised that Amy right off the bat was like, yup, this sounds cool. I'm ready for that too.
Well, she's just amazing and a little free spirit and wild card. So, she hadn't got to meet them before. She saw pictures and stuff. But yeah, that was the first time her sharing like, all right, yes, Vanessa.
Like,
I'm jealous.
After last night, all the dudes trying to court Amy were like, hey.
By the way.
I just added another benefit. Very cool. But of course, your second half, not so excited about it.
Yes.
You guys go to lunch, and I thought this was very interesting. Before you go to lunch, your sister basically asks, are you allowed to go out with just us? As if you're being trapped or Dimitri's imprisoning you
She's
in
like,
the closet.
blink twice if you
Right.
get
You need to be saved. Are you okay? What I was a little bit surprised, and being totally honest with you, is how, I don't want to say that you were defensive, but in a way you were. I was surprised at how surprised you were that she wasn't immediately accepting of this lifestyle.
Well, so here's the thing. Adrian is one of the most open-minded, loving people in the world. Like, that's how our parents raised us, to love everyone, accept everyone. If it's their life, like, go for it. Be happy for them. Yeah, to each their own. And so not only was she like, giving me attitude, she was like really giving me attitude.
She gave you the business.
Right.
And she had spent like all of 5 minutes with them. I'm like, you have a lot of opinions and concerns for someone who hasn't really spent that much time in here.
Yeah.
So I was just kind of like more like, Adrian, this isn't, in my mind, I'm like, Adrian, this isn't you. Like, can you just like hang out with them and then give me your opinion? And she was just so defiant and closed-minded. That's just not Adrian.
And how's the diet going?
You'll have to wait to find out.
I found it
Do I
interesting
not
that she
look
was
great?
so
No.
you look fantastic. I found it interesting she was so like caught up on the diet, and I was like, I've done different diets too. Like, that's not a big deal.
But so a little backstory on these twinsies. We love to eat. Like, that is our thing. Like, we plan when we're together. Okay, we're gonna eat here. We have a whole like map and schedule of what we're gonna eat every hour of the day. So for her to come all the way from Australia, and she's not in love with Perth's food. She loves Perth. She loves Australia. But the food is just not. So anytime she comes back to America, which is not all that often, she's like, where are we eating? And you're eating with me, because she didn't want me to eat quinoa and avocado during lunch.
Which, by the way, the alkaline diet consists of more than quinoa and avocado.
But that's all on the menu they had at the time. Lots of water.
Lots of water.
But not tap. Spring only.
Dimitri, you have to feel like a lot of this falls on you when somebody, a sister wife's family member, is going to be coming in.
Sure.
I love the episode when you guys surprised Ashley's mom. I was like, the dreads aren't the only thing big on you, my friend. Whoa, I couldn't believe you guys did that. But what's going through your mind, and what are the feelings, and what are you trying to portray and display to somebody's twin sister?
The first thing is actually just to let the observer observe and express themselves.
Yeah.
I'm not here to convince anyone. I'm just going to do what I do and be who I am.
And that's where I get in trouble. I'm like, no, just listen to me and feel the way I feel now.
I mean, I just let them get all that out. Because listen, I can't, you're going to feel how you feel, and you're entitled to how you feel. If you feel that, like, you are entitled to feel that way, please, and get it all out so we can be done.
Right, yeah.
But if your feelings are based out of naivety or ignorance, let me arrest that now by showing you something different. But if you have an informed bias and you're just married to that, then we really have nothing to talk about, and we can just carry on.
Yeah.
You stay on your corner, I'll stay on mine. So for me, the burden is really just to kind of present like, hey, this is me. It's not as bad as you think it is because you're referencing a template or some other story or whatever, but you certainly haven't seen this.
Right.
So if you can at least give me a few moments to observe this first and then circle back to that conclusion, I think it would be in all of our interests.
Sure.
So hopefully Adrian.
It seems like by
See
the end of
next
the episode,
week.
she's not convinced yet. But to her credit, I don't know. I think that's kind of what you want in a sister. Someone who's going to give it to you straight and exactly what they think.
Straight no
Oh,
chaser.
that's
Wait,
my
turn
family.
around.
We talk about everything. We don't sugarcoat
Yeah.
anything, and we're just like,
Clearly.
yeah.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't want it any other way because if she was holding back, I would be able to tell, and she would too. So
Sure.
Yeah, it would be whack if like 5 years we were married and she comes in and says, by the way, I never liked you. I mean, that would
Right.
be
Yeah,
kind of
yeah,
stuff.
yeah.
Like, just let's,
Let
again,
us know up front what we're dealing with.
I can respect, again, you feel how you feel, and I can respect
Yeah.
that because I know where I stand. And we
Right.
know how to deal with each other. And that's that level of honesty and transparency that is key, regardless of how you feel. And I think that's just kind of cap that all off. That's why people aren't as honest because they're scared of the consequence. They're scared of not being liked or making someone mad. It's just
Right.
like, guys, you're kicking a can down the street.
Yeah.
It's gonna be worse later, right?
It is hard though because we know that we're good people,
Sure.
you know, and we know that we're doing the best that we can to make her feel loved and supported and all that stuff. So when people come at you sideways, you know,
Right.
it's kind of like, you know,
It's
like
hard not to be
dang.
defensive.
It really,
Sure.
it's hard not to take it personally. You try really hard, but it's definitely challenging because it's just like we know we don't deserve this if you just chill out a little bit.
Right.
But you know, that's part of the human condition, I
Yeah.
guess.
And so we'll see what happens next episode with your family. Before we get into our special segment, I was just curious. You guys are 3 right now. No spoilers given away, obviously, nothing you can't talk about. But I'm wondering if after this show has been airing, if you guys were looking to add a 3rd sister wife, or any of the other families were looking to add another sister wife, do you think you are going to run into the problem of people who aren't actually interested in the polygamous lifestyle, just wanting some fame and trying to kind of come in and glom on for a little bit and pretend like, oh yeah, I want to go on dates or whatever like that. Is that a concern, or did I just make you really paranoid about it?
Both. Yeah, I think it's a little bit of a concern because a lot of people are interested in being famous.
Sure.
And I think just even above that, I think a lot of people are attracted to the idea of what this is.
Of course.
But not the actual reality of what this is.
A lot of work, it sounds like.
A lot of work.
A lot of
A lot of work,
dedication.
A lot of nannying, right?
a lot of nannying, a lot of cleaning, you know.
Yeah.
No, but I think there is a bit of that. I mean, even when we met Vanessa, we didn't tell her that we were going to do the season 2 until we got further in the conversation because we wanted to
right.
make sure that it was it's going to be organic. She really wanted to be here for us.
Had you watched season 1?
Yeah, I had watched season 1, and so because I saw it trending on Twitter one day, and I was like, "This show sounds juicy. I'm gonna check it out."
Yeah.
And then I saw them, and I was like, "Whoa, they're amazing." I didn't know polygamists looked like them. And then, like 2 weeks later, I was like, "Okay, they get along too well. They communicate too well. I was like, they must be actors. I'm gonna investigate." So I found his Instagram. Here we go again. I liked like 4 or 5 pictures.
It was like 20
he
pictures.
said I liked like 100. And then he actually reached out to me and slid into my DMs and kind of was
Gotta make
fishing.
that real clear.
Yes.
Yeah.
It wasn't just like,
It's on the
hi,
record.
I'm coming to join your family, right? But, it wasn't like
Right.
that. It eventually came to that, Well, no, because at first I was like, well, no, I'm not a polygamist. Like, why are you?
Yeah,
why
and
are you
even when I
interested?
came into it was literally just like thanks for the comment, just like
It was very respectful.
super
It wasn't like
professional.
come join our family.
Because in season 1 I was getting my ass kicked. Like I was
Yeah.
getting, it was rough.
Yeah.
Like, it was rough because of just what the season presented from content perspective.
Right.
But it was rough, like moving through this new space of being seen and seeing how mean people were and how rude people were.
Right.
So when a nice person comes and says
Yeah,
nice
I was
things-
like,
I was
I
just like, thank you so much. For,
because I was just like, I love you and Ashley.
Right, yeah.
Because of everything I've been through, I was like, I just love you and Ashley.
Yeah.
And so then it was actually
Then she stepped on me. She played me to the left.
I was like, yeah, because I'm not a polygamist, but I was like, hang in there.
She's
You'll
like, good
find
luck with that.
you'll find the right one, who's
Right,
on your
right.
same wavelength. And I was like, well, I'm kind of on their wavelength. But it wasn't until the season finale where they went on a date with a woman to this wine and painting thing, And they were painting, and she was kind of being kind of awkward and quiet. And I was like, why is she being so quiet and awkward? I was like, I love them. If I was there, we'd be painting and having wine and just having a blast. I was talking to my roommate. I was like, I had this epiphany. I was like, oh my God, should I be there? I think I should be there.
Wow.
Like, I should give this. I was like, I at least should just write him back and just see what happens. But once we started talking,
So
it just didn't.
To be clear, I got a random ass note like 2 weeks later.
It was like 3 or 4.
Yeah, it was like really random and very much late. I was like,
I have no game.
and I was like, okay, she told me to kick rocks, right? So I was
Right.
done, and then it was like this random note, like she was like, hey, how's some movie we watched? We went to the theater.
Yeah, I was like, oh, how'd you like Black Panther?
Yeah, and I was like, it was good.
It was like how they went, and he commented on my Black Panther photo
Yeah,
first. So there was a little bit of a tie.
Well, this is a perfect segue. Before we got to go, we're going to see exactly how well you guys are on each other's wavelengths, specifically with movies. So we're going to do our special segment real quick, the Snowden Newlywed Game. You guys have your pads. Tonight's question is favorite movie of all time. So I want each of you to write down on the pad your favorite movie of all time, and we're going to see if the other two can guess it.
Okay.
No
we should
copy.
call it the pre-newlywed game because
Fair
I'm
enough.
hoping to get
Pre-newlywed
there.
game.
Oh, that lovely music. lovely music. Poor Alex Trebek, by the way.
He is a gangster. He's going to be fine.
He's a trooper.
He's going to be good.
He's fine.
Alex is going to be hosting Jeopardy for the next 200 years.
Yes, it's true.
Love that guy. Love that guy.
Yeah.
Let's go, Vanessa. All right. We don't really know how we're going to do this. Ready?
You looked real good though.
I know, really, really good. Ashley, Dimitri, what's Vanessa's movie?
What is my favorite movie of all time?
Literally, this girl watches everything.
Such a TV
I have-
head.
and I don't watch anything.
You have to
so
guess one.
I just said The Dark Crystal. I know
Good
you like
movie.
crystals.
Good movie, Dimitri.
She likes scary stuff, so like The Ring.
And reveal.
The best man.
I only tell you guys this
What do you
probably once a week that it's my favorite movie
You
of
have
all time.
mentioned it before. Never.
Okay.
But I say every movie is my favorite movie of all time. So.
Vanessa, Dimitri, what's Ashley's favorite movie?
You go.
So I literally have no idea because she's not that into movies. But she's been talking about this movie, The Red Tent, that she loves, and we
Red
haven't
Tent?
watched it.
Mine would be. Damn, it was. I just had the tip of my tongue. Spike Lee did it. Crooklyn.
And it is Crooklyn.
Yes, I did it.
All right, okay.
And I talk about this every week.
I know. We've been
And now real
together for
quick,
a million years.
Vanessa, Ashley, what is Dimitri's favorite movie?
I don't know his.
I have no idea, but
either.
I do know he grew up watching kung fu movies with his father. So I'm going to say a Bruce Lee movie, Enter the Dragon.
All right, Enter the Dragon. Good movie.
I said get to the chopper. I don't know.
Get
what
down,
the-
get
wow.
to the chopper.
I don't know. Predator?
Get down.
All right.
Terminator?
That's Predator.
Oh, Predator.
It is
Short Circuit.
Short Circuit. Good movie.
I
Wow.
like
That's a really good one.
Johnny
Johnny Five, that's right. Oh my God, I could talk to you guys for about another hour, at least, just about this episode. Unfortunately, we're out of time. This was so much fun. Guys,
you.
we're going to be doing this every week for the rest of the season.
Yeah.
But until then, Ashley, tell all our viewers out there where they can find you. What's your handle?
Ashley at Ashley K Snowden on Instagram and Twitter.
Dimitri Snowden on everything. Twitter, Instagram, Facebook.
Vanessa Cobbs at for Instagram and Vanessa_Cobbs on Twitter.
Guys, I'm your host, Mike Thieling. You can find me everywhere at Mike Thieling. Go love and kiss your significant others.
Others.
Keven Undergaro and me, Maria Menounos, would like to thank you for tuning in to Afterbuzz TV. Remember, we're not just the first, we're the biggest in the world, and we're the only destination for all your favorite TV shows. Whatever you crave, we've got it. So go to AfterbuzzTV.com and check out our lineup. Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.